A mentor enables a person to achieve. A hero shows what achievement looks like. John C. Mather. All right, hustlers. So in today's episode, we have Melanie. Welcome, Melanie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Hey, I'm thrilled to have you here. We have our mutual friend, and she told me a little bit about your story. And I know you come from this amazing background that you were literally living in your car, and you were able to build an amazing, incredible coaching business. Multiple six figures in less than 3 years. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm eager to hear more about that story and what you're doing now and all of what you went through. I bet living in your car wasn't easy at all. So let's start there. How did you get involved into the coaching business?
Okay. Well, the story will take us through how I ended up in my car too.
Okay.
So what happened is I was a salesperson. I didn't graduate high school. I wanted to make money. I basically just was looking for a job. And I found this company that they were selling on a stage, almost like an infomercial. So if you've ever been watching the Food Network and they sell like the ShamWow or the Mastercut knives, like I would sell that. So I would get on a stage in the middle of a store. I would make an announcement and people would come and they would watch this demonstration that I would give. And then at the end I would say, okay, if you want one, you let me know. And then people would buy like that. So it was like an in-store demo. And I became really good at it. I became successful at it. I had this boyfriend that unfortunately, I knew he wasn't the right guy for me, but I just loved him so much and I wanted to make things work. I got him involved in the company as well. Anyway, fast forward 6.5 years, I break up with this guy. We're living together in a house. He's my boss now at that work I introduced him to. Like, we're really intertwined in a really big way. And I break up with him. And all of a sudden, I cannot sell anymore. At all. It's like us breaking up, even though it was my idea. The thing is, he started dating another girl like 1 week later, even after 6.5 years. And I was just devastated. And I couldn't function. I'm telling you, it was the weirdest thing. Like, my heart was going so fast. I ended up at the Cardiology Institute of Montreal trying to figure out what was wrong because my heart was going almost 200 beats a minute. We found out I was giving myself anxiety and depression from just what I was thinking, basically driving myself insane. And this job that I had been so good at, all of a sudden, I just couldn't sell anymore. People wouldn't even come close to the counter. I was pushing people away. This job I had been so good at, I just couldn't do it anymore. So I was working because I wasn't allowed to work in his district anymore because he fired me when I broke up with him. So I ended up living in little hotels in a small town called Sherbrooke. And I would work in a Canadian Tire and go stay in the hotels. But my paychecks were just dwindling. And I just couldn't, eventually I just couldn't afford the hotels anymore. And I remember the first night it was just like, I'm gonna have to sleep in the car. Like I don't have funds for a hotel. My credit card's maxed. I don't have money in my bank account. Like there is no option. And that night I didn't even have enough money to drive home. There wasn't enough gas in the car to drive me home. So I was like, I've got to just stay here. I was so embarrassed. And for the couple first days, I thought it's going to turn around. It's going to turn around. I just got to power through this. It's going to turn around. And then there was this special for this gym, like a yoga membership, $15 unlimited and there was a shower. And I was like, okay. So I got a paycheck a few days later. It was the tiniest paycheck. And with it, I filled my car with gas and I bought a membership there to shower because I figured I'm going to be here for a while. I ended up living in that car for almost 2 months. It was the worst experience. I felt so embarrassed. I didn't tell anybody I was there. I didn't tell my parents. For all they knew, I was just working and staying in hotels. Nobody knew what I was going through. It was just the worst thing. And I was just so embarrassed and I wanted to fix it and I just wasn't fixing and it was just awful. And one day I was sitting in my car and I Googled how to make your ex-boyfriend cry because I was so mad with him. I was like, and what I found was this course called How to Have the Relationship You Want. And I was like, I need this course. It was like $500. I had $0. My credit card had been refused everywhere, for food, for gas, everything. And I just thought to myself, I've got to buy this program. I don't know how. And I don't know why I even tried it, but I put my credit card information in online and it passed in my bank account, on my credit card. Like, I got the program. I was like, what on earth? So I listened to this program 24/7. And I was just so sad, but I was just listening to this program nonstop. And one night there was a snow plow and I was sleeping in the parking lot. So the lights were coming into my eyes and I was just like, I can't sleep. And what if the truck hits me? And I got into this really ugly place of like, it wouldn't be so bad if the truck hit me. Like, I'm a loser. I'm 25. I have no man. He's already dating someone else. I'm going to lose my house. I'm in debt. It might as well hit me. I scared myself thinking these things. So I just decided I'm going to move my car. So I went and I parked in a parking lot where there was a hotel. And I woke up early in the morning and I was washing my face with my little face wipes. And I heard this sound. And it sounded like someone had just thrown like a chair or a table out of a patio door. Like, I heard this crashing sound. And I looked up. There was a woman falling from the sky. Like, she took a brick, smashed her window in the hotel room, and threw herself out the window, and she fell and smashed right in front of my car, right in front of me.
Wow.
And I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares. It was just the worst thing. And somehow I got connected to a woman who did readings, and she told me that I hadn't even told her what had happened to me, but she basically guided me in the direction. She said, something's going to happen. You're going to end up helping people in life. I didn't even tell her about what happened. She said, you're here to transition people either from life to death or in life from where they want to be, from where they are to where they want to be. And it was soon after that, my friends started calling me having issues with their relationships, and I was giving free advice, and it turned into coaching. And I started my coaching business in my car and grew it to 6 figures before I even put myself on the internet. And it's just been from there. Basically, I started my business in my car, a relationship coach with referrals only. And now I teach people how to build coaching businesses, coach network marketers, I coach entrepreneurs, and it's a totally different life.
Wow. That's a real, what I call the hustling story of how you were, you hit bottom, rock bottom, but because you had the passion and the drive, you didn't give up. You were very close to give up, but you didn't. And that's what matters, at the end of the day. And, I'm very happy to hear that you didn't give up and you just push and you basically threw yourself out there all in, and you went for it, and look at you now. And I mean, it's an amazing story. And I know everybody that is listening is very inspired right now by your message and by your story. And, you were mentioning that you started the business actually trying to help your friends for free because, you went through the course, you kind of figure out things. So you now had a better perspective than them. And at what point were you able to start charging for those when you started with the relationship coaching?
Well, it was really interesting because at first I didn't even know I was coaching them. Like, the universe sent them to me because there was a bigger plan. But what happened was this is the craziest thing, is the day that I saw the woman jump out of her car, or jump out of her hotel room. I was sitting in my car. I couldn't think. I was so emotional. And I got a phone call from one of my friends who was crying. And I don't know why I answered, because I needed help. But she called me and she was like, my boyfriend, he's going to leave me and I don't know what to do. And it just snapped me out of my pain immediately. And I thought, I know what to do. I learned what to do. And I was like, this is what you got to do. This is how you got to act. This is what you got to say. And she was like, oh, okay. So she went and she did it. And she came back and she was like, he stayed. Everything is good. Like, I can't even believe it. Thank you so much. And then another person. And the third person asked me, are you a coach? You're really good at this. And I said, what's a coach? And she was like, people who help people, who get paid to and I was like, no, I don't have any training for that. She's like, I don't think you need training to be a coach. So I went online and I looked and I realized that you can just be a coach. Like just like that, you can be a coach. And I was like, I have so much information. If I make it just about the things I really know, I can make a difference. So I called my friends that I had helped and I said, listen, I am starting a coaching business. If you feel like I helped you, this is what I want you to do. If you ever hear anyone struggling in relationships, tell them what I do. I charge $100 an hour, and if you refer me, I'll give you a percentage. And people just started referring me. And then those people started referring me. And then those people started referring me. So I had like an underground secret, like it was like an underground coaching business. Like, oh, the invisible coach. That was my brand. Like, you hire this girl, you never meet her, you don't know her name, you don't even know her phone number. She calls you from a block phone number and you just send her money through PayPal, but she's brilliant. And no one will ever know, you know, your story. It'll never get out, because I know some people, they live in small towns, they don't want everybody knowing their situation. So it's like, no one will ever find out. No one will ever know. And she's good. She's amazing. It caught on like wildfire, and that's how I built my business.
That's amazing. That's something that I would expect to see in a movie.
Maybe I should make a movie of my life.
Maybe, yeah, for sure.
I wonder who'd
That's
watch
so
it.
fun. I bet there would be a lot of people watching for sure. So looking back, once you decided to go all in with the business, figure out how to charge, and you started getting the referrals, how were those first 6 months when you started?
Well, what happened, which was interesting, is that there was a part in the program that was called circular dating. And circular dating meant I needed to date multiple men at the same time. I wasn't intimate with them, but I was dating them to find the man of my dreams so that I could understand my power as a woman and not get addicted to men. Because I was literally addicted to this ex-boyfriend. We were together for way too long and I just couldn't let go. And then when I did, I almost died from it. Like, I had an issue. So I was working on my own self on how to be powerful in relationships and not tolerate anything less than what I deserve, and just really working on myself. So at first, the first month or two, I still could not afford to really stay in any nice place. So I would still sometimes stay in my car, but because I would choose, like, I would rather eat. I'm used to staying in my car now. So I'd rather be able to have food during the day, because I went a week without any food. So at this point, I was like, I would rather eat than sleep in my car. So I'm gonna eat, or I'd rather eat than sleep in a hotel. So I'm gonna eat. So it took a while before I was making enough money that I could go and also like sleep in a hotel and eat at the restaurant. So it took a little while before that got started. And one of my friends called me and said, you know, you can come to Toronto and do the work you're doing in Toronto. And I went and I met the guy that I'm with now. He became part of the circle. He was one of the men that I dated. He took the cake. He won it all. And I just met people every time I traveled from Montreal to Canada, every time to Montreal to Toronto. Every time I'd go somewhere, I'd meet people. I used to go and get my nails done. At this point, I was making really good money. And I mean, I went bankrupt in my car. So I didn't have any credit cards or anything like that. It was just money coming in, but I didn't have credit. I didn't have anything. But I'd go and people that would just start feeling an energy off me. People would ask me, what do? You seem interesting. What do you do?
Mhm.
Started talking about what I did. So it was a hustle in the beginning. It was just like, where am I going to get my next client? And am I going to sleep in my car or in a hotel? How's this going to work out? Like, it was just the craziest thing. And then eventually it just kept getting better and better and better. And now I actually just never went back to living in a house. Everything I own fits in 2 suitcases, and I travel the entire world now, but not out of, I can't buy now I stay in like 5-star hotels and travel the world in business class. So it's a different story, but I just never went back to living in a house after that. So it was the hustle, and now it's the reward.
Right. And that's amazing. It's an amazing story with everything you're doing. And you touch a couple of points there. First of all, it's very surprising for me that you grew such an incredible business out of just referrals.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Is there any trick that you can share with everybody that is listening? What would you say that was fueling that referral base?
Yes. 2 things. Number 1, people don't refer okay things. They only refer extraordinary things. So from the beginning, what I understood is that a client is the most cherished and loved thing you can possibly have. When you have a client, you treat them like gold. So I was so dedicated to my clients, and they felt so loved, even though they didn't even know who I was and they never seen my face. They felt so loved and supported. And the coaching, like I read books and books and books and books and reports and did research online and did these programs. Like I found out everything. I am so knowledgeable in relationships. It is shocking. So I had all the information, and if there was something I didn't know, I would go and do the research. So the results were so quick. They would turn their relationships around. So anytime they would hear of someone who was going through a relationship issue, I'm the first person that came to mind. So amazing follow through, world class follow through with your clients is the first one. And the second one is have a referral program. Make it worth the while of the people who share. You know, every time I had $100 an hour coaching call, the person who referred me got $20. On average, people would buy 4 a month. That's $80 a month for one person. That's not bad. Then I had people refer me 2, 3, 4 people. So it's a little sideline business. I was like, thank you. And I just paid them a commission.
That's awesome. Now, the second thing that I wanted to touch base is you didn't even have a website for this. And right now, you know, we all know that when you go social media, Facebook ads are like the hit, and the landing page and the email, you know, the email automation and the website and optimizing, like all many things that most of entrepreneurs that are starting out get overwhelmed trying to figure out. But you went to the basis, the bone, the core, and you still made it. That's amazing.
You know what? I still don't have a website.
I kind of figured that because I was looking for it and I couldn't find it.
No. This is what I love. My quest, my dream, my love for life is my freedom. The freedom to be where I want, to do what I want, and only do what I want. So I have built a business that is pure freedom. I don't have to figure out sales funnels. I don't have an email marketing list. I don't have any of that stuff. I have referrals that come to me easily and effortlessly. I go Facebook Live every single day. I meet new people. I get 1 or 2 new consults every single day. Recently, I've had 3 or 4 new consults every single day. I am having the time of my life with the business the way it is right now, and I don't need any of that stuff. So when I'm done, my calls, I'm done. I have a group now, like a Facebook group, where I go in and I interact with the ladies that follow me, and I enjoy that, and I go live on Facebook. But apart from that, it is freedom. I don't have anything scheduled. I don't have anything I need to do. I don't need to do meetings with people. Like, it's my business, my time.
Right. And, you know, through all the hustle that you went through and all the struggles that you were trying to survive, did you actually doubt yourself that you could turn it into such big business that you have now?
I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew is I needed food and I needed to stop sleeping in my car. What I really thought is if I get enough of these clients, I'll be able to maybe stop being so stressed and I'll be good at the job I was doing again. I never thought that I was going to build something this big. It became way bigger than me. Actually, I remember when people started asking me, where can we find you? And I was like, you can't. It's an invisible brand. And they were like, that doesn't work. It's not scalable. How are you going to grow it? I was like, well, what do you mean grow it? It makes $100,000 a year. I don't need to grow it. And they were like, this is it? You're not going to grow it anymore? And it kind of got in my head, and I was like, I could make more than $100,000 a year. That's crazy to me. But then it was the like scary thing of I'm going to go and put myself on Facebook now and be invisible on Facebook, and people don't know me, and I'm going to have no impact, and I don't know what to say. I don't know how to build a following. I don't know how to be I don't want to not be popular online. If I'm going to be online, it needs to look good. So that transition was so awful, of feeling like, oh, nobody's watching, but I just never stopped. And now I've got 24,000 people who follow my Melanie and Layer page. And
That's awesome. So how long have you been doing your Facebook Lives?
I've been going live on Facebook for only about a year and 3 months.
So how was it at the beginning?
I wasn't quite as fluent.
Right.
I was nervous. I would have a hard time speaking and answering the comments at the same time. I'd get very sweaty, like just stressed. I think it's just so effortless for me now, but I have a different way of doing them. Before I imagined, like if I saw 7 people, if I saw the number 7, I thought I'm speaking to a crowd of 7 people. And it was such a strange vibrational thing where I would just feel overwhelmed, like I'm speaking to a crowd. But now when I do my lives, I speak to one person. I have an idea energetically who my client is I'm trying to attract in my life. And I speak to her when I'm speaking. I imagine she's there watching me. And every single day I get at least one person that says to me, I saw you on a Facebook Live yesterday. I don't know who you are, but you speak to my soul, and I want to do the consultation, or I want to be in your group, or I want something. So
That's so cool. And the reason why I ask is because I remember the very first Facebook Live that I ever did. I completely blanked out. Like, what was I gonna say? You know? And I was talking to a couple of friends about this. I was actually in an episode and we were talking about that, and he said, well, not because it's live doesn't mean that you don't prepare for it. And that's something that you're saying right now. Like you know what your message is going to be for that Facebook Live. So of course you're gonna improvise because you don't know how it's gonna go, but you at least have the base of your message.
right.
That's awesome. But it's a very interesting thing, like I said, because I come from a web design background too. So for me not to have a website is like, what?
Well, you know what I'm thinking? Because when I created Alpha Femme, which is the female brand I have right now, um, I had the thought I should probably buy the website, because if someone else buys the website, that'll look really bad. So I went to buy the website, and it was $1,500, and I bought it, but I didn't buy it because I want to use it. I bought it so that no one else has it. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm thinking of doing is to just have a video on our website that says, hey, I don't use websites. Follow me on Facebook.
when you do, send me the link so we can blast it, because that's gonna be epic.
I love it. Deal.
Cool. So now that you can look back and smile at the story, because I know when you went through it, you couldn't possibly smile at what you were going through. But now that you can look back and look at everything that you've gone through, is there any specific moment that you consider it to be like your worst entrepreneurial moment you ever faced?
My worst entrepreneurial moment?
Yes.
Well, you know what? When I was working in the store and I was selling my infomercial products, I was still self-employed. And my worst entrepreneurial moment of my life was when my vibe as a human being fell so low that people wouldn't come near me. A job that I had been the best at, like the best in the entire company, in the country, in the company, and it was a worldwide company. Like I was the best, and all of a sudden I couldn't even get someone to my counter. It was unreal. I went from making almost $2,000 a day to not even being able to make $20 a day, just because of my mindset and my vibe.
That was a huge drop for sure.
Yeah, that was the worst. That was my bottom in my life.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And my second bottom, I would say, is the struggles at the beginning when I was trying to create a social media impact and I had no idea what I was doing.
How are you able to
I was
figure it
making
out?
money. I just never stopped. Like one of the things about me is, and I've been through a lot of hard times, and if you're struggling out there, I just want to tell you there will be a day where you're not struggling anymore, and you'll actually need to like try to convince people that you struggled, because they'll be like, no, you're just good at this, you don't understand me. And I'm like, listen, I lived in my car. Like now I went from wishing no one ever knew to feeling like I need to persuade people that it was hard at a time. They're like, we're always good. No, I was not. So can't remember where I was going with this, but it's really important to remember the beginnings and the failures. So when I was doing the social media stuff in the beginning, I just don't quit. So for me, it would have been worse to start it and then, people don't watch, so I'm going to just stop. It would have been worse to do that than to just power through it and be like, I don't care. I'm going to figure this out. I don't know how, but I will. I started networking, just meeting people online, meeting people offline. And again, people just started referring me when I started going live every day. So the biggest leap in my business happened when I started. I did a 21-day Facebook Live challenge. And I would ask people to share my video, and people would share the video. And then I would get more visibility and more visibility. And I went live every single day. And that skyrocketed my following. And then I went live again for another 21-day Facebook Live. And that was crazy. And now I'm almost done a 90-day Facebook Live.
Wow.
That's a lot of Facebook Live.
That's a lot of Facebook Live. And I'm guessing you're sharing tips and tricks or because I've watched a few, but I haven't watched the entire 90 days.
Right. Well, I know that there's a lot of algorithms on Facebook and people don't see all of your stuff. Even if you go live every day, your people won't see it every day because Facebook doesn't just show the same things over and over again. Um, so I just go live every day, and I know that sometimes people won't see all of them. So sometimes there'll be topics that'll be similar with a different twist, and it's okay because I know people don't watch them all anyway. And I'm trying to get my message across. You know, there's a few topics that I really talk about. Business, relationships, mindset are my top three, and that's what I talk about. And in my Alpha Femme coaching, that's what the triangle stands for: business, relationship, mindset. Your life, your business, your relationship. So I talk about different things. A lot of times when I read a new book and there's something I read in there that makes me think, I want to share it. If I learn something new about Facebook, if I learn something new that I can just give, and I don't feel like I need to sell all the information, I know that would be crazy. I feel like I can give a lot of value. And in my group, in my Facebook group, there's a lot of women who join it. And my goal, my purpose is basically to help them get to a point where they can hire me. Because I know what it was like to have no money. Like when you have no money, you have no money. So there's people out there, they want to learn, they want to grow, they just can't, they don't have it. Well, I help them get to a point where they can work with me, and then they do. I've already got people from the group that started just a few days ago being like, since I started being in this group, I've already got these clients. I want to join Impact Academy and I want to do this. And so it works, you know.
That's awesome. That's amazing when you have the power to start creating a community and actually help other people. I think the the reward and the feeling that you get out of that, it's amazing. It's priceless.
I agree.
Yes, yeah. And I know it because that's exactly what we do here at the show. I mean, the opportunity to spread this message and the reward, I mean, nobody pays you to do a podcast. Like you have to figure out how to monetize it later. But for
Mm-hmm.
the first few months it's for free. Like nobody's paying me anything, but the reward and I want to share this with you. I said on episode 0, like the show is going to hit a milestone the day that somebody emails me and say something about what I'm doing, right? So not 20 minutes ago, I got that email, the first email. It's like, oh my God, okay, this is a milestone. So I replied to the guy and I said, dude, you're the first one and you hit the milestone. Because that was the goal of the show, get that first email.
Good
So,
job. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
well, thank you. So I know the feeling, and I know you probably, have that feeling times 1,000. But everybody that is listening, when you get to the point that you can actually share all this value and you can provide to and build a community and provide and help, it's amazing. it's
Yes.
really it's really amazing.
I'm so happy for you. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's hard work for sure. It's a lot of
Yeah.
hustle.
It is a lot of hustle,
Yeah.
but you know, that's what you built, and you're amazing. I'm so happy for you. That's huge.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. Really appreciate your words. And I mean, it looks like you come a long way and you've done so many great things and you continue to do so. And I'm very proud of everything that you do. But I want to share with the hustlers that are listening to us, what would you say it's one of your key secrets to your success?
My key secret to my success is I'm really authentic. Like I don't try to look better than I am. I I struggle actually with being bullied a lot on live. So even though I do a lot of Facebook lives, I've been shared into some awful groups. There's groups on the internet that are like anonymous hate groups, and there are millions of people in them, and when a video gets shared, when the video gets shared there, they literally rip you apart. And I've gotten shared into awful groups. I've had people come on my lives, make fun of the way I look, tell me I'm ugly, my eyes are too far apart, my eyebrows are ridiculous, my face is shiny, you name it, like just the craziest things. And I just don't stop, and I'm super authentic. When it hurt my feelings, I did a live where I literally just got on about bullying, and I ended up crying my eyes out on my live. And I don't try to look perfect. I don't just delete it when someone says a mean comment and go away. I really want to empower people to go and go past all the things that might be happening to them in their life, whether it's bullying or whether they're just having a hard time with something else. It isn't always easy. I have a beautiful life, and I'm so grateful for my life and for my travels and for my partner and for my business. And I mean, there's so many amazing things in my life, but that doesn't mean bad things don't happen. That doesn't mean there isn't nasty people. So I don't sell perfection. I know I love your show, and I love that it's called The Hustle. And I don't think it needs to be, hard, but I think you need to be willing to step up if it does get hard. And
Right.
how can I possibly help people if I don't show them that I step up when it's hard? So I show all of my journey. When it's hard, when it's good, when I'm celebrating, when I'm devastated, like I've shared all of my journey, and I think that's a big part of it.
Yes, I love that, and I really appreciate what you're saying, and everybody that is listening, I'm gonna recommend to go check you out, and we'll put your link to your profile in the show notes at thehustleshow.co/THS31. That way, everybody can tune into your Facebook lives, because, like I said, I watch a few. Like you said, I don't see them every day on my feed, even though I live on Facebook. I don't see them every day, but when I do, I jump in and I watch for a few minutes, and your message and being transparent is what it's all about, and being honest is really the best differentiator there is in business, because I really think that when people buy your product, they don't buy an actual product, they buy yourself. They buy a way to connect with you and to be like you, because they want to be like you.
I agree. I agree
Sweet.
100%.
Sweet. So we're gonna change gears a little bit. We're gonna change from talking about your story to what I like to call the hustle round, where we're gonna play this little word game. I will throw a word at you. Very easy words. You're gonna be very familiar with them, so you don't need to freak out there. But whatever you're gonna have to say out loud, the very first word that comes to mind with whatever I say. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Hustle,
Game.
work,
Play.
employee,
Fun.
boss,
No.
rules,
No.
either. College,
What?
college.
I've never been there, so that's the first word that came to mind. What?
Sorry. Fear,
Always.
weakness,
It's okay.
strengths,
Yes.
motivation,
Power.
and last but not least, books.
Read them all.
Awesome. I love that. That was a great hustle round.
I love that. You're so cool. That was fun.
It is fun, and I mean I'm impressed. You didn't have any hard time to come up with the one word, because we've been through. Most entrepreneurs are speakers, right? So they love to speak and they love to articulate and they love to explain everything that they say. So I've had people that it's not that they can't say one word, but they want to explain, like they want to keep going. It's like, hey, hold on, it's one word.
That's funny.
So to everybody that is listening to us, I would love if you would have some hustling words or a quote or something that you can share to them. Maybe they're listening right now and they're on the fence on trying to leave their job and go build their dreams, or maybe they already started their business but they're not at the point where they want to be. What would you say to them to inspire them to keep pushing and to keep hustling until they make it there?
Okay, I'm gonna teach this one concept. This is one of my favorite concepts that I've created, and it has the power to change the way you look at things if you adopt this in your life. So imagine if it were just as simple as when you wanted something, you could just tell the universe, like, hey, I want to quit my job and just be really good at entrepreneurship and start a business and like be a business owner and be successful like tomorrow, go. And the universe just said, oh, how perfect. We don't have anybody that wants to be rich effortlessly. Yes, of course. We have a plethora of those opportunities. Here you go. That would be so great. However, it's not how it works. And if we're going to be very honest, it's probably good that that's not how it works, because even though people say they want things, it takes a lot of power and strength and confidence that is built through time and through trial and through all kinds of things in order to actually be able to support the dreams we want. So you may want a successful business, but if you had it in your hands tomorrow, would you really be able to run it? I don't know. And what if people actually bought your services as a coach or bought your services somewhere and you didn't know how to do it? Would that be fair to them? No. So the universe doesn't work that way. What it does is it says, oh, okay, you want that, prove it. And if I see you mean it, it's coming. I'll meet you halfway. So as soon as you declare that you want something, the universe will give you an opportunity to prove it most of the time, unless you mean it so profoundly that you manifest it immediately. But for most of us, we want it, and there's a little fear that maybe we can't, or maybe we won't. I want to win the lottery tomorrow. I'm going to win the lottery, but kind of secretly, I don't believe I will. I want to meet the man of my dreams, and he's going to be perfect. Secretly, I don't believe I will. So as soon as there's that kind of secretly, I don't believe I will, the universe will not give you effortlessly what you want. There will be a moment of prove it. So for example, the relationship is the easiest thing for me to give this example on. Someone who just has been in a relationship where there's abuse, or it's just the wrong relationship and there's fighting and it's awful, and it's maybe a guy who cheats. Okay, you decide, you say, I am never going to be with a guy like that again. As long as I live, I am ready to be with the right man. I want a man that's going to look at me with stars in his eyes. He's going to be perfect for me. He's going to be nice and sweet and all the things. Do you think the universe is just going to send you the first nice guy, like just like that? You've declared no more jerks, perfect, a nice guy's coming? What the universe does is it sends you the most attractive jerk it can find and says, all right, prove it. And most of the time, the lady will fall back for the same guy and say, why do I always attract the same kind of guy? Because every time you say you want to change the way you're doing things, the universe gives you an opportunity to prove it, and you always fall flat. When you say, I want a business, I'm ready, I want to leave my job, but you have the opportunity to do some calls or to hire a coach or to do something that would be congruent with owning a business, and instead you sit down and watch Netflix and complain about your job, the universe goes, she's not ready. The universe goes, he's not ready. You don't, if I can't meet you halfway, I'm not playing. That's what the universe says. So this is my favorite saying, my favorite mantra that I created that I say to myself all the time. It may come to me effortlessly, or I may need to prove it. Either way, I'm in. And then you play 100%. Because on the odd chance that the universe is only waiting for you to move. So it may come effortlessly, or I may need to prove it. Either way, I'm in.
I love it. That's so awesome. And I really appreciate you sharing it. And I mean, I'm very inspired by your story, and hopefully all the hustlers that are listening to us right now, they want to jump in, they want to go check you out on Facebook and go watch your Facebook lives and hopefully resonate with this story that, it doesn't matter what your background is, and it doesn't matter your current situation. It doesn't matter anything, their family, nothing matters. The only thing that matters is how hungry you are to make it. Yes. So you're the perfect example of that story, and I love it. And I know this is one of, by far, probably in the top 3 favorite episodes ever.
That makes me so happy. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And, I just want to really thank you for the opportunity to jump, on a call with us today and share your story here at the Hustle Show, and to all the hustlers that are listening to us. And very grateful that I got the opportunity to connect with you.
Me too. And again, I'm so glad that I got to be here on the episode where you got your email. I think that is awesome. And I'm sure there will be many more emails because you're doing great work in the world. And it has been a pleasure to be on here with you. So thank you for having me.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to the Hustle Show audio experience. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And even if you didn't, make sure you subscribe to the podcast right now. It's still free. Visit thehustleshow.co for all the show notes and to watch the video experience of this episode. We'll see you soon.